This is what you need to know now.
I'm Kristi Noem.
President Trump fires Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem after her embattled reign at DHS. As U.S. and Israeli strikes pound Tehran, what is the U.S. plan for the future? President Trump tells ABC, forget about next, and says Iran's, quote, decimated for a 10-year period. The emotional reunions as Americans return home from the Middle East. And just how much is Operation Epic Fury costing American taxpayers? And previously unreleased Epstein files released overnight by the Justice Department. We'll tell you what's in them. We have much more what you need to know now. I'm James Longman from ABC News. It's Friday, March 6th, and this is what you need to know. I'm in northern Iraq. The war is now in its 7th day. Let's get right to the big story. By air, land, and sea, there has been no let-up in the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran. U.S. Central Command released these new images of an Iranian drone carrier going up in flames, and they say multiple Iranian jets were destroyed at this aircraft hangar. And take a look at this moment on Iranian state TV when an airstrike comes in during a live news report. The U.S. and Israel are trying to disable Iran's ability to strike at U.S. targets in the region and their many allies. And even though they say Iran's drone and missile capabilities have been severely compromised, they say the number of ballistic missiles fired has decreased by 90%. Iran still seems able to lash out at targets across the region. In Doha, hotel guests spotted missiles intercepted just overhead. The major U.S. base, Al Udeid, was targeted overnight. Oil infrastructure continues to be an Iranian target. This refinery was struck in Bahrain. Air defense systems firing but missing the incoming. And this oil tanker off the Kuwaiti coast also hit. And another country, the 12th now involved in this ever-widening regional conflict. Azerbaijan says it was targeted by Iranian drones, one landing near a school. Iran denies it was behind the attack.
As we transition to the next phase of this operation, we will systemically dismantle Iran's missile production capability for the future. So we're not just hitting what they have, we're destroying their ability to rebuild.
And in Lebanon, the second front of this war is widening. According to the Lebanese Health Ministry, more than 120 people are dead and hundreds of thousands are being forced to leave their homes in the south as Israel moves against Iranian proxy Hezbollah. Israel killed Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah in 2024, but his group remains a threat. Matt Rivers is there.
It sounds like incoming. Yeah, there's the explosion, series of explosions there. That's the latest Israeli airstrike. Hundreds of thousands of people were warned by the Israeli military to evacuate from there.
New details about that girls' school in Iran, where local officials say at least 175 people were killed, including children. An analysis by the New York Times found it was likely a U.S. airstrike that hit that school. The White House says the Pentagon is investigating.
Some of the Americans who were trapped in the Middle East are now back on U.S. soil. The first non-stop flight from Dubai, landing in San Francisco late Thursday night. Californian Heather Doherty was in India for work. Her flight connected in Dubai, but returned to the airport after the conflict began. She was stuck there for 5 days.
I spent the first night huddled on the floor next to my bed, worried about the windows exploding. So, you hear alerts going off, you hear explosions in the sky.
President Trump now says he must approve who next runs Iran. Our Jonathan Karl spoke directly with the president.
Hey, James, President Trump made an extraordinary declaration today. He said that he must be the one who chooses the next leader of Iran. In a lengthy phone conversation that I had with him, he said, we don't want them to put anybody in there unless it is approved by us. He sounded triumphant in this phone conversation. He said, they're calling me the GOAT, the greatest of all time. He actually asked me, what do you make of the performance? The performance, he meant the war as it's been waged so far. And I noted to him that in just 15 months of his second term, he has had military operations in 8 different countries. He said to me, quote, in my first term, I built the military. In my second, I am using it.
We know this conflict has already taken the lives of 6 American service members and well over 1,000 lives from Iran to Lebanon and across the region. As for the financial cost, while the Defense Department is not saying how much Operation Epic Fury might be, $891 million a day is what the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a bipartisan think tank, is estimating. That's nearly $4 billion since the war started nearly a week ago. And while Congress has the power over finances, House lawmakers on Thursday rejected an effort to rein in the president's war powers.
We are not at war. This is a limited operation. It's an operation that's limited in its scope and duration. It has a very clear mission, and that mission is nearly accomplished.
The other big story we're following in Washington, the president firing Kristi Noem after her turbulent time as Secretary of Homeland Security. Trump posted that he's nominating Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullin of Oklahoma to replace her. Rachel has the details from Capitol Hill.
Well, James, this is the first major shakeup of President Trump's second term. Noem, of course, was one of the most high-profile members of the cabinet. You often saw her in those flashy photo ops, but her tenure was defined by controversy. For the president, I'm told by sources, a $220 million taxpayer-funded ad campaign may have been the last straw. She was grilled on that by Republicans in a Senate hearing earlier this week, asking why taxpayers ultimately paid for that campaign. Noem telling senators that ultimately the president signed off on that. We are told that that infuriated the president and that he had not signed off on it at all. Administration sources telling me Noem's ouster was the culmination of her many unfortunate leadership failures. Flashpoints laid bare this week in two bruising congressional hearings. Noem was also pressed on the chaos that unfolded in Minnesota. Federal officers shooting and killing protesters Alex Preddy and Renee Good. Noem quickly characterized the victims as domestic terrorists. The administration believed that this was all a distraction for the president's immigration campaign. Sources tell me that the president informed Noem just moments before she walked out on the stage to deliver a speech in Nashville. She did not mention that she had just been fired when she initially started giving her remarks. And the president says she will now be moved to a different job as special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, though it's very unclear what exactly that is.
We're just in the middle of recording our show here, and a strike has come in just behind us. Not clear where it's come in from, but this part of northern Iraq has been dealing with drone attacks from Iran's proxies in this region, and the airport is in that direction. That's been closed for days now.
And we have much more what you need to know. Now to some quick hits, other ABC News stories we're following. The United States and Venezuela are restarting diplomatic relations. They were cut off in 2019 during the first Trump administration in a decision by deposed President Nicolas Maduro. He was captured in a U.S. raid in January. The State Department says reopening relations will help Venezuela's peaceful transition to a democratically elected government. On Thursday, Shell Oil signed a major deal with the country. AI giant Anthropic says they will sue the Trump administration after falling out with the White House over refusing to allow the use of its AI for fully autonomous weapons or domestic mass surveillance. The company says it has received a formal letter from the Pentagon designating it a, quote, supply chain risk to America's national security. This is a move typically reserved for foreign adversaries, and it could mean the company is banned from U.S. government contracts. The Pentagon has not responded to ABC's request for comment. The Justice Department has released more than 1,000 additional pages of records related to Jeffrey Epstein, including 3 previously withheld FBI interview reports from 2019 related to a woman who made uncorroborated allegations that she was abused by Donald Trump in the 1980s when she was a minor. The DOJ posted on social media that they were initially withheld because they were believed to be duplicates of other documents released earlier this year. According to the reports, the FBI interviewed the woman 4 times between July and October 2019. In her second interview with federal investigators, she claimed that Trump abused her when she was between the age of 13 and 15 years old after being introduced by Epstein in the 1980s. As of Thursday evening, the Justice Department's website still does not include the handwritten notes from the interviews themselves. Trump has denied any wrongdoing related to his relationship with Epstein, and the Justice Department has previously said that the files contain sensationalist claims about the president, which are unfounded and false. And now, one more thing before you go. We'll leave you with these emotional reunions in San Francisco after the first non-stop flight from the Middle East to the West Coast landed since the start of the war. Many others are still trapped in this region, but for these families at least, it was welcome relief. And that's what you need to know. For breaking news and live updates throughout the day, check out ABC News streaming on Disney+.
New episodes streaming every day on Disney+.